Hey quilters, it's Marianne Fontana. I've been working on the 55485, the AccuQuilt 10-inch pineapple die. As you may or may not know, I am an AccuQuilt educator, or at least I was before the pandemic hit. I used to go out to shops and do events at the local shops all over the United States. And whenever we would do a bob event, we would always cut out enough fabric to make one block. Well, I thought it would be fun to bring my own fabric because I always wanted to make a pineapple quilt and have the quilting participants in the event cut out one of the blocks for me every time I visited a shop in one of the various cities. So that's what I did. Well, now that I'm not traveling, I have all these blocks that were cut out, so I started sewing them together. I did have to add a few. I ended up making 16 in total, the ones I got from the shop, and then I added a few. So I thought I would share with you how I sewed them together and some tips and tricks, because it's really easy. It's one of my favorite dies, and I bet it'll be one of your favorite dies too when we're done. And if you were in one of my events, you may just see the die you cut out. Not the die, of course, the block that you cut out. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy these tips on the pineapple die. Okay, so I'm getting ready to sew the next course on the pineapple die, and I just wanted to show you where I was at. I obviously have done the two colors, all of them being an off-white, and then whatever color was selected by the class. And in case I didn't mention it, this is the AccuQuilt Go die, the 10-inch pineapple finished, item number 55485. So anyway, I'm getting ready to do the next course. And I know a lot of times when you read instructions, they try to be very precise and careful on how to do everything. And a lot of times there's tips. And as you can see, I've got a lot of different colors here. I put all the same size piece together. Obviously, I can tell these are green and these are yellow and these are blue. I don't have to separate them. I can see which color this is, and I'll just pick from the stack what I need. But what's nice, when you get to the off-white, you have enough pieces to finish all the blocks at one time without them being separate and doing individual blocks. Many of you who have seen me do things, videos, whether it's in class or a tutorial, know that I have this need for speed. So I always want to put everything together quickly, but of course I want it done well. I want it to look good. So I've come up with some tricks. First of all, and some tips. First of all, I do not iron every course anymore, or should I say press every course. I will go in and finger press. And I have limited my ironing now to doing every 2 or 3 courses, because I do want it to lay flat. I do want it to look good, but I also don't want to spend all my time on the iron. So I took the first square and I sewed the 4 pieces in, which are sewn in traditional, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, pressed them out. Then I went back and did the second row, which was the background color, the off-white, and I did the same thing. Once you get to that point, you can now sew all 4 ends at the same time, because the seams no longer meet, and therefore you don't have to sew 2, press them out in order to attach the other 2. So that was the trick I wanted to show you today. So I'm going to match my seam up, and hopefully you can see the whole piece. I have trouble sometimes getting everyone to see the whole thing. All right, and so I'm going to just put it in. I do set my presser foot on top of the fabric. I do not start here and feed in, because that's how it eats my fabric. And I found I have pretty good success with this. I'm going to now match the other corner and hold my finger on it, and then make sure this is straight, and off I go. Now, I'm not going to cut the fabric, the thread at this point. I'm not going to remove the block, and I'm not going to add another block. I'm going to turn. And I'm going to take my next piece. Now keep in mind, because the seams don't match, I'm not worried about sewing on a non-pressed seam or anything like that. And I'm going to match it up. And I'm just going to kind of quickly sew across till I get to about that 1/4 inch seam. Then I'm going to turn the rest of the way. Hold, again, go back to the corner, hold my piece down with my finger, and stretch this piece out to make sure it lines up, and sew. And stop at the end And again, I did that little turn. Now, if you wanted to, you could sew a little bit towards it. And you could actually cut the fabric if you wanted to, but I think it probably saves another inch of thread. I meant cut the thread, of course, not the fabric. You don't want to cut the fabric at this point. But anyway, so I'm going to just sew in until I get to the point, turn, match my end up right there. Make sure it's even on this side. See there? And sew. Oh, and I am out of thread. I re-threaded the machine and forgot to turn the video on. So pretty much all I would do is just finish sewing that strip down, which I did. Do the turn, do the last strip, and then I'm done. And then before I go to the next course, I go back to my finger press. And if you think it's starting to get a little wrinkly looking or anything like that, go ahead and go to the iron. This is not meant to be a replacement for the iron. I will press this down completely once I'm done with the blocks. But for now, it just keeps me from getting up and down from the sewing machine so many times. So I'm ready for the next course, and now I'm going to do the off-white. And as I said, I've stacked all these pieces together, so I have enough to do all the blocks I have left. And I'm going to see if I can switch this. Actually, that's better, but I don't think it's going to stay. What do you think? Okay, so to start again, now these are all the same. You know, and some people say, well, how do I know which one it is? Well, if you take the sizes and stack them, you're going to see they're different sizes. And you can just stack them, the largest to the smallest. And you start sewing with the smallest one. And when you get to the largest one, you run out. You're done. I know it sounds simple, but it's just really just is that easy. Okay, next course, here's the white, or the off-white as it is. Match the corners, check the middle. Very end, you will sew the background color triangles onto each corner, which will be the same as the background color, which was the last course you just sewed. And this I will cut and move because it's a lot to sew up around those corners. So I'm just gonna, again, I think it's less thread used doing it this way, but who knows? I'm happy, so I guess as long as you're happy, that's what matters, right? Things. It's about having a good time, learning how to put things together easily, quickly, but still having it look professional, or at least something you're proud of. I mean, it's about having fun. And the last one. Okay, and I will put the last piece on. And so there you have it. This block is done. It is the pineapple block, the AccuQuilt Go pineapple 10-inch finished block. And again, look how easy that was to put together. I'm done. The block is complete. And I just need to go to the iron and give it a good press. And I only have 6 more to go. actually the pattern. It's going to be more like a yellow, and then it goes down like colors of the rainbow. But now I finished sewing the 16 pieces together. It's a 4x4 block, and I started quilting it. But before I did, I had to figure out, well, most of the directions that you see in making, when you make quilts, you know, they give you the top and then they go, okay, quilt as desired. So, you know, what does that mean? So I try to give you little tips and tricks on what I'm going to do to quilt it. So this is the pineapple and this is the pattern, and I did go online and I Googled free motion quilting for pineapple or something like that, and I looked around and I saw what other people had, and it kind of gave me a sense of how you can divide up the space and different options. And I've tried a couple out. What I do is I print a copy of the pattern, and then I just start, you know, drawing and seeing where I can, you know, what I think pattern will work and different designs. And then when I get to the one that I think I can replicate, I highlight it so I don't accidentally follow the wrong one. So that's the pattern that I'm using, and I don't know if you can see it. It's just it is a continuous pattern, and I can sew it all in one. I'm going to go down and start at the flower and go up one stem, come down the other, do the little petal and go up one stem and go down the other, and continue until I'm done, and then top it off by finishing this. I'm going to show you how to quilt it. I've been quilting for a while, and I think I got the hang of the pattern. And actually, I did something I don't usually do. I used a slightly different color thread. I mean, normally I would put this ivory color and blend it in, but this time I actually did a light yellow. But before I start, I'm going to do these 4 pieces right here. And I know I want to do that too before I end. I'm not going to come down further because I don't think my machine will, so I'm going to stop here. Let's just see which way I want to go, because wherever I start, I kind of have to figure out the direction I'm going to go in and where I'm going to end up, because that's going to be important. So I want to end up here, so I'm going to start here. So let me go. I'm going to go up a little bit and then come back down. That's my petal. Now I'm going to go up a course and come down halfway. Go up a course, come down halfway. Go up a course, come down halfway. But now I'm going to make my petal up to the point, back around. Let's reverse it. Go up, come down a course. Go up, come down a course. And go up and come down a course to the middle. And then I'm going to make my petal. But I'm going to stop for a moment and clip this thread. Okay. And I'm going to come down this way now. You ready? Okay, there's my petal. Come up and down one. Come up and down to the seam. I'm actually following the seams and the different rows of the pineapple to create my pattern. It's a great guide because I can come up to here, and now I got to go to the second one, so I know I got to come down to here. Then I come up and I go down to the second one. And I come up and I go down to the second one, and I finish that pattern. Now I'll make my petal. Now I start the pattern again, and I'm going to come up and come down one course, and come up and go down one course, and come up and go down one course. And I'm a little off, but no one's ever going to notice. Just make the flower a little more stylized. Now I got to come down to the second one, go up, come down to the second one, go up, come down to the second one, and I'm finished here. I'll make my petal. And I'm using this seam here as a guide for the petal to try to make them somewhat even. Okay, so let me do the last course, and I'm going to include that piece as well when I do it. You ready? I think I'm going to start in the opposite direction so I can end up over here somewhere. So I'm going to go up a course and come down. Go up, come down. Go up, come down. Now I'm going to go do that other piece. So I'm just going to come up halfway, and then I'm going to box this out. And I'm going to draw a flower. And I'll just loop it over and loop it back. Oh, that's a little fat one, but that's okay. It's part of handcraft. You know, they're never going to be all perfect, but that's okay. I think we're too hard on ourselves sometimes. So I'm going to make a little circle like a center. And I got to remember to come back down here. Oh, now I'll finish the loop. And come up and down a second one. And come up and down a second one. Oop, I went a little too far, but there you go. You'll never notice. And there. We're done. At least for this course. Just for a close-up, because it was kind of hard to see when I was sewing, this is what we just did. There's a little feather here, but here, look, this is where I started here. And I went up and I came down. See the seam right there? Then I went up and I came down. See the seam right there? And I went up and I came down, and I got some dirt there. But we won't look at that, right? We're just looking at the seam. And I came to the seam, and then I went around to do the petal. And if I had needed to continue to that, I could have kind of jumped over. And if I show a little later, I'll go with some green magic marker and color it in. But anyway, I came back down. Now I go up and I drop a course. And then I go up, and then I drop a course. And then I go up and I drop a course. Now I'm back at the beginning, so I do the little petal. And then I started the next one, and so on. And it's just that easy. Okay, and so there you have it. There's the rest of it. That's the one I got a little wonky on. Remember I said it was a little weird, but who cares, right? You know, hey. And so there, and there's the flower I made. You know, so that's it. That is how I'm quilting the pineapple, and I really like the pattern. It's very easy to do. You know, you could, if you wanted to, round it instead. You can kind of go around like a circle. I tried that, but I really wasn't doing good at all with it, so I stuck with the points because I was better off with that one. Anyway, that is quilting the pineapple. So what do you think? It's done. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And if you look at the way the colors were done, I did the yellow. I started with yellow. It's kind of like a rainbow. So I tried to follow the rainbow colors, you know, yellow to orange to red to purple to blue to green, just kind of branched it out. And so that is my, I call it my pineapple event quilt, because everybody at the events helped me make it. You saw how I quilted it. And so I hope you enjoyed it. If you would, please follow me, Fontana Originals, my Facebook page. I have an Etsy site as well. And I do have a YouTube channel. It's all Fontana Originals. Very easy. So I'll be back with another project real soon. And in the meantime, happy quilting.